To the studio.
Thank you, Hadiza, for that update. Delegates from across Africa and Europe have converged on Abuja for the fifth African Future Trust Model United Nations Conference. Deborah Gazajimaika reports that the future of food and agriculture is the focus of this year's conference. The report.
The African Future Trust Model United Nations TAF1, a non-governmental organization, is hosting delegates in a three-day capacity building conference. The conference highlights the causes of hunger and how to end hunger in 2030, having observed facts about hunger set to be severe in conflict-affected countries. The founder of the organization, Maureen Ifeyiwa, builds the minds of the youth on the potential of farming across all regions.
Just like you heard a few of them voice, that young people don't think agric is for them. So somebody else produced the food. But this is the time to catch them, open their eyes to the possibilities in agriculture. You never know who you're talking to in there.
With all that we have learned, I'm proud to say that agriculture should not be seen as something for the low lives out there. It's something that everyone should uphold because we are now in a world where everything is dependent on food.
One of the challenges facing African countries, she knows, is unfair trade policies.
One of the biggest challenges facing many African countries is unfair trade agreements. These agreements may require African countries to open up their markets to imports from developing countries while maintaining some barriers to exports from Africa.
Our job here is to create strong relations with the countries where we work in, and especially when themes are so important like food and agriculture, it becomes a strategic issue and which challenges us a lot to do our job in a very positive and productive way.
There is, however, a pressing need for regions across the world to foster relations, to encourage agricultural development in order to address poverty. In Abuja, Deborah Gazajimaika, NTA News.
In another development, a one-day capacity building workshop for 100 teachers in Abuja has been organized by the Rotary Club Zones 1 and 2, District 9127, in collaboration with the District Committee on Basic Education and Literacy. Rosemary Motlembilali reports that the theme is empowering education for literacy excellence.
The workshop was organized with a purpose to empower and equip teachers with the latest knowledge and happenings in the education sector, as well as training teachers with information that will sharpen their capacity.
A philosopher mentioned that one very critical thing I mentioned earlier, education makes a man unfit to be a slave. So most of the things we have in society today can actually be reduced. Most of the vices we have, most of the poverty and the hopelessness and helplessness we have in society today can be reduced if we increase the level of education.
The district governor of Rotary Club District 9127, represented by Assistant Governor, says Rotary believes in education and information, hence the need to empower teachers.
We can't allow the quacks to be in the classroom. Some of them, sometimes it's actually the finance issue that is stopping them. You know, we'll have 520 teachers in Enugu who are teaching, but they are not qualified. So we made arrangements to send them to do PGDE in NTI. So that's a way of encouraging them so that they will become qualified teachers.
And for the teachers, it is a welcome development, adding that they have learned a lot.
We are even expected in discharging our duties, we should have some innovation in order to make the teaching work easy, also to impart knowledge to the learners.
The need for teachers to continue to expose themselves to professional development and, of course, personal development. For teachers, what is technology currently doing for teachers? And so that's what we looked at, professional development and technology in the classroom.
Rotary Club says the empowerment will be sustained. Rosemary Mortalen Bilal, NTA News.
And now to health. The saying aging is not a curse, but a privilege, and creating a world of better care for the elderly echoes on this day, September 21st, as the global community observes 2024 World Alzheimer's Day. Actors in Nigerians' older persons care have been speaking on better coordination and to prioritize dementia care and services in the country. Olishaya Adiagbo report on commemoration of the World Alzheimer's Day in the FCT.
Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurological disorder that affects memory, thinking, and behavior. It accounts for 60 to 80% of dementia cases. In the statistics of Alzheimer's Association, the disease, which mostly affects people above 65 years, has over 55 million people worldwide as sufferers and expected to triple by 2050. Since its establishment in 1994, the World Alzheimer's Day is dedicated to raise awareness about the disease, and this road work is championed by Need Care Fit and Fresh with coalition of civil societies for the rights of older persons in Nigeria, Costropin and other partners.
In Nigeria, we're talking about more than 1.5, and I'm sure that is underreported. Now what we're doing now is to create awareness.
A lot of people that come to work in the city, you find that most of them retired back home. So it's to join us in awareness to take this thing to the grassroots.
A lot of missing old people who walk away from their homes as a result of dementia or Alzheimer's. It just makes you don't remember anything again. So we want government to come up with support for families with Alzheimer's.
Community health workforce program is being redesigned, and a module on elderly care is being introduced.
The National Senior Citizen Center is working in collaboration with civil society organizations to ensure that this inclusivity we are talking about, older persons are properly included, to ensure that mental health is achieved.
While institutions of the federal government are driving support programs for better treatment and care, these groups expect better coordination that prioritize dementia care and services, especially at the grassroots.
You're still watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, and still to come on the news. Peace ambassadors call for strengthening ideas of peace among nations. These and more in just a moment.
Good evening, glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
I will celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
The Unity Station, NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
Would say have a lovely day.
Thanks for staying tuned. Towards promoting peace, tolerance, and understanding among nations and people, irrespective of beliefs, the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management has sensitized the residents of the FCT on the need to cultivate a culture of peace. This is in commemoration of the International Peace Day. Serafina Okonomekwe has the report.
Peace is the only battle worth waging, says French writer and philosopher Albert Camus. To this end, peace ambassadors of the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management converge on the Unity Fountain to conduct a peace walk to the city centers. The registrar of the institute noted that one of the ways the country can attain absolute peace and meaningful development is for Nigerians to shun organized crimes, while also appealing to the governments to inculcate in the educational curriculum, starting from the cradle to tertiary institutions, subjects and courses on peace building and conflict resolutions, as this would go a long way to reducing crime and bring about swift development and peace in the country.
One way you can promote peace at the individual level is to avoid the way of violence. So in your own little way, whatever you can do in your own little way to make sure that there's peace in your community, go ahead and do it. Avoid violence. When I'm talking about avoiding violence, that if you are once a bandit, stop banditry activities. If you are a kidnapper, stop kidnapping. If you are somebody that abuses people's human rights, stop. These are the only way we can go and promote peace. And then also the issue of social justice. In every place you find yourself, in government, in every organization you find yourself, always promote social justice. Injustice is a cause to peace, to conflict. And of course, everybody should articulate the way of peace, and that is to stop violence at our individual level.
Other stakeholders of the body appealed to Nigerians to unite for a more peaceful world by taking advantage of the Institute's free trainings, which fosters understanding of tolerance and conflict resolution, as with peace, an equitable world is possible.
Peace is something we need as a nation and as a people, at the grassroots level, at the national level, and also even at the international level. We have been carrying out training, we've been training individuals, we've been training organizations. Currently, we are having a 1 month free online certification training on alternative dispute resolution.
We have been sensitizing and advocating, talking to people, making sure that violence is reduced to the barest minimum.
Peace is very important in our everything endeavor. The endeavor always.
This sensitization work, which started at the Unity Fountain, terminated at Wuse with members distributing flyers. The 2024 theme of International Day of Peace stays, "Cultivate a Culture of Peace." In Abuja, Serafina Okon Omekwe, NT News.
Still on peace, Nigeria has joined the global community in observing the 2024 International Day of Peace set aside by the United Nations Assembly with a view to strengthening the ideals of peace both within and among nations. Rosemary Bilal reports on the theme for the year, which is cultivating a culture of peace. The report.
The International Day of Living Together in Peace aims to uphold the desire to live and act together, united in differences and diversity, in order to build sustainable world of peace, solidarity and harmony.
It is time to silence the guns and bring hope to those who are most vulnerable. Over 100 member states, diverse regional and religious organizations, and more than 200 civil society groups have endorsed this call so far. We must act coherently to deliver our mandates, maintaining peace through our 95,000 peacekeepers deployed around the world.
There is no religion that does not speak about peace. So all these things you see is because we are not properly oriented. If you are a Christian, you show love one another. Your neighbor is your closest brother. Peradventure, anything that happens to you in the night, this network you see can disappoint you at night. But if you happen to shout, somebody, if you have a good neighbor, that is why I say live peace in any way you go. Your neighbor will be the one to either take you to hospital or allow to other people, they will help you.
According to New Nigerian National Anthem second stanza, where it says, "Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign in peace, or battle honor," and this will count as again resounding the call and hope that our great nation will attain a state of peace, which leaders across sectors says is attainable.
I want to urge, we should forgive ourselves. Let us lay down our arms, those who are aggrieved. Agitation of having different state or separation here and there is not the best for us. but rather let us pray for our leaders.
When we talk about peace, we talk about peace of mind. Nobody hates himself, and everybody wear peace within yourself. And in the same way, we have to carry this peace as a message to our world, to our environment, to offices, to our villages, to the country at large, to the world at large. The world needs peace, and this peace comes from individually.
The way the country is going, if every one of us will not have understanding with each other, we may not be able to stand what is ahead of us. And so looking for peace is the ultimate. So, and we are saying to everyone out there that they should go after peace instead of crisis. That crisis cannot resolve anything but peace. When we understand to dialogue together, we can go a long way.
Peace is very important in Nigeria, in every country, in everywhere. Peace is very, very important. Because if there's no peace, we cannot be here. We can't be here. But if we are here enjoying peace now, we're enjoying our conversation because there is peace. To avoid the conflict, especially our youths, we have to train them. Not only giving them white collar job, we have to train them in skills, in various skills, because every one of them are talented. There's a saying that says, "Give peace a room, and love a chance." If we can give peace a room and love a chance, every one of us will enjoy the riches, the wealth, the goodies of this country and the world.
Building a peaceful nation, they said, should be a collective effort in respect of our obvious differences. Rosemary Moltelen Bilal, NTA News.
Meanwhile, ministers from different denominations and church workers converged on the nation's capital for a one-day capacity building workshop. Odiri Ogbaru Arotere report that the workshop, which featured ministrations and new directions for evangelism, is part of activities for the 2024 Conference of God's Ministers, Koinonia Foundation. Here is the report.
This is the 12th time these ministers and church workers are meeting, not just to fellowship together, but also to brainstorm on better approaches to draw more souls to Jesus Christ. The 2024 Interdenominational Girls Ministers Conference was quite engaging, and special guest Professor Shola Kolawole gave talks on good health and preservation from sudden death. Chairman of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Reverend Isaac Komolafe, delivered lectures on full-time pastor job and the reality of today's economy.
Our nation, Nigeria, is a blessed nation. There's no state in this country that does not have natural resources and even human resources that can take us further. So as a church, as a group of church coming together, we are coming together to let the leaders of the churches to know that there are things we can do to empower the members so that can lead this situation to a better situation. And we should stop complaining.
That this meeting intends to achieve, by the grace of God, is to instill hope into the people of God. And, once there is hope, there's a future. God himself says he has a future for us, a future that is filled with bright hopes.
The president, God's Minister, Koinonia Foundation International, Reverend Isaac Oriaki, charged everyone present to be source of motivation to one another.
We are using this conference to sensitize people and teach the church that even during hard times, God can make us prevail. We don't need to grumble. We don't need to get ourselves involved in anything negative. God will make a way. That's what this conference is about.
It's been our burden and vision to let the church be one, empower the church across denominational line.
To address Nigerians, we want to address children of God, that they can still be their best, no matter what is happening in our society today.
The 12th Girls Ministers and Church Workers Conference had its theme centered on being your best during hard times. Odiri Ogboru Arutere, NTA News.
It's time to bring you Sports Brief by our sports desk.
The 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier between Super Eagles of Nigeria and Mediterranean Knights of Libya has been fixed. The first leg encounter will hold at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo on Friday, October 11th, 2024. Meanwhile, the return leg, which is the match day 4 in the series of qualifiers, is slated for October 15th at Tripoli International Stadium. Still talking football, following their qualifications to the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup, Nigeria representative Eyimba International is to know their group opponent on the 7th of October. 16 qualified clubs will be divided into 4 groups of teams, and the top 2 teams will reach the quarter-final of the competition. Meanwhile, Enugu Rangers were eliminated from the CAF Champions League after losing 3-1 away to Angola club Sagrada Esperança, leaving Nigeria with no representative in the group stage. Rangers crashed out 3-2 on aggregate after being a lone goal lead in the first leg of the second round qualifier. To boxing, former 2-time heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has vowed to continue boxing despite his shocking defeat to Daniel Dubois in London. Joshua's bid to become 3-time champion and return to the division's top table ended dramatically and unexpectedly, with Dubois dropping him several times at Wembley Stadium before he landed the final blow in round 5. With sports brief Francis Kabile, NTA News.
Thanks for watching the news at 1. Please do join us again at 7 for more news. I am Aisha Obali. Good afternoon.